Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Huggies Little Movers. Huggies knows that babies come in all shapes and sizes, and their tushies do too. Huggies has more curves and outstanding active fit. Parents know that there's nothing worse than an ill-fitting diaper, especially for active, wiggly babies. Huggies Little Movers are curved to fit all curves, so babies feel comfy no matter how much they're moving around. And we all know they're moving around a lot. They also offer 12-hour protection against leaks, which is a game changer. Get your baby's butt into the best fitting diaper. Huggies Little Movers. We got you, baby.
Okay. This is tectonic.
I'm rattled.
Tectonic.
My cage is rattled. My body is rattled. My soul is rattled. This is the tipping point.
There is so much to talk about. However,
thank you.
Just moments before we hit record, God herself announced her next fucking project. This is not a drill. The Victoria's Secret fashion show, which we think that's not what you thought I was talking about.
I'm talking about Diddy being arrested.
I could give a fuck less about Diddy. Cher's performing at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. There is no bigger story unless Diddy did something to Cher, which I will talk about separately, but I don't think he did. We have tried to fix the Victoria's Secret fashion show on this broadcast. We came up with wonderful ideas, but the Victoria's Secret fashion show came up with something so good, we couldn't even think of it. Cher will be headlining the Victoria's Secret fashion show. I have this to say publicly to Tyra Louise Banks. Listen to me, Tyra, come here.
Yeah, come in closer. My coworker, Tyra.
My former colleague, Tyra Louise Banks. This is not your show anymore. Do not pull stunts.
No.
Do not go, don't do any of your focus pulling shit.
Don't foam at the mouth. Don't foam at the mouth like you're in second position.
Yeah. This is the Chertoria's Secret lingerie hortacular now. And you're the assistant. No ifs, ands, or buts here. Step aside and let the queen do what she does. Period.
Many people need to say this to her because she's going to do, you are going to come for her because she is going to do she's going to be dressed like Cher from like, If I Can Turn Back Time. God, that's what's going to happen. And come out in like a wig that's like a big Cher wig like she had.
I can just see her doing it. Tyra,
Dominic, it's going to happen. Dominic, it's going to happen.
And now we can move on from that and talk about what really is the biggest story.
No, Cher being a part of this is big. It is big. And again, we say these things and then look what happens. Sorry to
we didn't even dream big enough for this. I said, did I say Dolly Parton should perform there? Was that my fix?
You did.
Why wouldn't I have kicked it up a notch?
Because you have too much respect for Cher to just throw her into a fix like this. You've yet to use her in a fix.
I really have. And the funny thing is she's a natural choice because she, by her own admission, has been performing in her underwear for 78 years.
Yeah, nothing new here for her to come onto this, by the way. She's like, I already have it all in my closet. We're good to go. I'll just show up camera ready.
I bet Cher doesn't have Victoria's Secret, though. I bet she's got
no. What is she? A piece of trash like us?
What is she, Tyra Banks?
Yeah, no, Dominic, you are right, though. Tyra's going to do something. Tyra is going to do what Lil Mama did whenever Jay-Z and Alicia Keys were on
I challenge her to fucking try, man. I challenge her to try.
Lil Mama's going to do that, and that is what's going to happen.
Well, now that we've spoken about God, now we can speak about Satan. The question, did he? The answer, did it. Yeah, he did it. He has been arrested, racketeering, sex trafficking. Honey, she did it all. This is the menu.
This is what I'm worried about. I don't want this to be like a Ghislaine Maxwell #2 where she gets, remember she was on the lam and then they got her. And then like we never heard hide nor hair again of her. And she's just like in prison somewhere and we're none the wiser. I need names to be dropped. I need court TV in there like fucking swimwear. Okay. I need to be able to watch
mothballs.
But I need to watch, like, HLN needs to be able to be put on my television and I'll see Diddy sitting there like the ski trial.
He's never going to go to trial. He's going to plead out to a million lesser charges. I think he's going to jail for life, but this is sort of like a Weinstein situation. And I don't think he has the stomach for it. I don't. I think he's going to plead out eventually. I think it'll take a minute, maybe up to a year, but at a certain point, enough people, because after he settled with Cassie was when like it was sort of a very slow drip of like one lawsuit after the other. Men, women. I mean, we were originally in this Pre-Fixe going to talk about these other suits that were filed last week. Now they're on the back burner because he has federal charges now.
He's done for. He
is done.
And I remember back when Jen Shaw was getting arrested, one of the like really big lawyer podcasters, her name is Emily. She has like glasses. She said like, the Southern District of New York like does not arrest you unless you have a slam dunk case. Like they don't like go to trial and then lose. Like you're never going to get arrested until they're like, we don't even need to go to trial. We're going to put you in jail for the rest. Like you're done for. And so we're in the moment of the chronology of these crimes where if you go to the New York Post, you will at any given point be given 38 new stories about it, many of them conflicting, a lot of them just untrue. So, we're fine. There's apparently like 2 tons of lube in his house that the feds have seized. 50 Cent is tweeting him, taunting about all the baby oil they found. There's like all these things. And so people are now, every story is going to come forward. It's just going to be like Harvey Weinstein and Me Too. And now that the seal's been broken, everyone's going to come forward and you're going to see that this guy was what he was rumored to be for the past 20 years, which is a fucking monster. And I'm, again, chomping. The chomps are heard around the world of me waiting to see like who else ends up getting like kind of pulled into this. You know what I mean? Like
Let's get loud.
Well, should we move right along to?
I mean, as luck would have it, the other big story of the week includes Sean Pete Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Lynn Lopez, who, when we last spoke, was looking fierce at the Toronto Film Festival, holding hands with Matt Damon deliberately, being photographed and circulated that way.
Incredible.
A few days later, Ben Affleck is outside, we'll just say at Dunkin' Donuts, kissing Matt Damon's wife on the forehead, which I assumed was just like some sort of jubilant fuck you. And then a few days after that, at the Beverly Hills Hotel, because of course, when you're going to have brunch, you want to go somewhere where you're guaranteed to run into every photographer who lives in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
J-Lo and Ben having brunch with their children, and apparently they can't keep their hands off each other. They're making out. Oh, Jennifer, don't do this.
No,
Jennifer, don't do this.
Dominic, she's got him right where she wants him.
You canceled a tour for this. You were taunted all summer for this. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, but I think she's like,
you got your best friend back when you left him. Are you kidding me?
I think he's like, I'm in ruin now. Like after the Matt Damon pick, like he got his shit rocked. And I think he's now like, yeah.
I think he's like just a little bit.
He's like the real love of my life, and then my beard are both like in cahoots together, and now I'm destroyed.
I don't know. Jennifer Lopez, I got to tell you, you filing for divorce and then your best friend who left you when you married this guy, who then came back to you after you announced your divorce. She also announces her divorce. I cannot think of a better middle-age gift than you and your best friend being single at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't go back to Ben Affleck. Go on a dick tour of the entire globe with your best friend before it's too late. This is nonsense at this point.
But I think he's probably like, we can make it work, please.
And
I think
all saw Gone Girl. The dick is good. It's not great, for God's sakes. I mean, Jesus.
Sure. I mean, we thought this was over. It's like, it's just begun. It's just begun. That's the worst part.
It's never over. What if there's a layer to this? I mean, we're joking about the Diddy thing, but what if she like flew to brunch and was like, I'm going to be wrapped up in this and I need someone to protect me.
She's
I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, like for real. Like she's like, I'm like, I need to be on the lam now.
Yeah.
I might have to run. Like you might have to take my children. And like I have to go into hiding.
You can move Andy Armas into the house. I don't care. I just need you to do photo ops with me. I don't know. Jennifer, don't do this. Please.
I know. Be stronger for once.
Now, someone who did take a plea deal, you know what I love? I love the whole concept of plea deals. I love that you're just like, you've done a crime. We've seen you do it. But I don't know, in the interest of time, we're just going to say it was something lower. Like, I want to go murder someone and then say I would like to plead out to shoplifting. I don't understand the concept of a plea deal. We're not a serious nation.
No, we're not a serious country.
Justin Louise Timberlake takes a plea deal. He'll do some sort of office-based community service. He's not going to serve jail time, but he did. I guess he was out in the Hamptons, held the cringiest press conference.
Don't even say anything.
Just
like, why are you having a press? No, because he thinks that it's going to like make him cool.
But it was the polar opposite.
2 strands of pearls,
those pearls,
and like being like as if he like murdered again, like he murdered someone. It's like you drove drunk and you got a DUI. Like this isn't, you didn't like ruin the, I mean, it's horrible, but like.
I almost threw my pearls away when I saw him wearing them. Yeah. I'm like, if this is where we're at with strands of pearls, flush them.
And don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just do it and then be done. And then it's in the past. Now we're bringing it up again here.
He's also getting blowback because he was on Fallon a couple of days later and then made absolutely no mention of it.
Of course.
So
well, of course.
I don't know what he was supposed to say, but you figure one of them would have alluded to it.
Or like use this as a time for him. But he could do what he did in this press conference, like on Fallon, and it would be better.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, Jimmy Fallon's like, I'm a fucking raging alcoholic, so I can't throw any stones.
Right. Jimmy Fallon, I think, only drives drunk, right? Yeah. Isn't that like his thing? It's a kink. He doesn't do that. Sue us, but because I have a veil to wear to court. But it's not true. I'm telling you, it's not true. Brighter Pastures, Wicked not only released another Ariana-focused trailer this week, which was a delight.
I've got to tell. Okay, go ahead.
But no, you love the trailer, right?
I have goosebumps watching it, and I have fallen into a Wicked hole where I went on YouTube and found like a bootleg version of the entire musical, and I watched all of it in one sitting.
Jesus Christ.
I am like, I have the book. I'm like going to pull the book out, and I'm like,
it's
in a rabbit hole. I'm in a rabbit hole, and I'm like going to go. I think I want to go like opening night of the movie. It looks absolutely incredible.
It looks great. It really looks good.
I mean, I'm serious, and I'm not being, I know I'm often very, grandiose about things, but stop. But like,
don't sell yourself short. Grandiose is not a big enough word.
This might be the like film event of the decade. Like it looks
I mean, it
so good.
Qualifies. It qualifies. It could be.
It's been a long time since I've been this excited to go see a movie.
I mean, who would dare to write a poor review of it at this point? I feel like the entire world's hinging on it.
And they put out a lot of them. Look, I have goosebumps even just thinking about it.
You're on here. This is the second Pre-Fixe cameo in a row.
They put a lot of them singing the like Defying Gravity, the end of Defying Gravity in the trailer. And when you hear their voices together, you're like, holy fucking shit. Like, this is going to be good. Like, it's not like they're going to blow it out of the water. There's very few people that I think are better singers than the two of them. And they're
peaking. They're at their absolute peaks.
Like, I might see this multiple times in the theaters.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Are you excited about it? No.
Am I? I'm not as excited as you, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I won't go opening night, but I will go pretty soon after. I'm not going to get like wrapped up in the, you know what I don't like to see when I'm going to see a movie, unless it's Rocky Horror and I'm with people I went to high school with. Yeah. I just don't want to see any of it.
This is that movie.
Yeah. And look, I loved Wicked. I waited a long time until I actually saw the musical, but I truly loved it. It was even better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to go after everyone who's going to feel the need to sing the entire thing from beginning to end. After they've seen it twice, I'm going to sneak into like a small theater on December 8th and see it then.
I didn't even think about that because truly when I was watching the musical, like on this, again, like on the dark web, aka YouTube, I was like, oh, I truly know every single word to every single one of these songs.
Yeah, you're absolutely going to dress up as Madame Morrible when you go see this movie. And don't even pretend you're not.
The goat to teacher is what I'm going to dress up as.
Well, we bring up Wicked not just to talk about the trailer, but because the producers of Wicked have announced their award intentions and that they will be across the board submitting Cynthia Erivo, who's playing Elphaba, as lead actress, and they will be submitting Ariana Grande as supporting actress for her role as Galinda. And this is it's only a big deal because A, they're two giant names, and B, at the Tony Awards, which is the only other time these roles were nominated, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth were both nominated for lead, but Idina Menzel did triumph over Kristen, and as one would. And the role of Galinda is great, but Elphaba's like, she's the showstopper.
I do believe, well, yes, I would agree that I believe that Galinda is the supporting. I feel like she is. She is obviously the second lead of the show, but for a movie, she's supporting because it really is Elphaba's story.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the more that I see from this new Galinda-focused trailer, she really was born to play this part.
Oh,
and she really will be the defining, she's going to usurp Kristen Chenoweth's portrayal of this part.
Which is,
and I mean that respectfully, because I like Kristen Chenoweth.
Again, not to be grandiose, but like, I mean, think about it. Like that image of her, like in Defying Gravity at the end when she flies up and Elphaba has the broom in her hand and her other hand out. Like that is, in my opinion, for the decade of 2000 to 2010, like that is musical theater.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's very few moments that exist.
No, it's a very special,
more important than, as much as now it's, yeah.
It's a very special show. Like when the movie Chicago came out, which was in 2002, I think, everyone was like, oh, it's the musical's going to suffer, the Broadway musical. Didn't suffer at all. It actually improved upon it. And so it's a very special piece of art that can run simultaneously in theaters and on stage and still be successful everywhere. Very few can. I mean, Chicago's the first one that comes to mind, but now Wicked's going to be the juggernaut. Wicked is Phantom of the Opera now.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
To everyone who wasn't in high school when I was.
Because I was like 13 when it came out. Like I was a teenager, and now I'm a full-fledged adult, and I'm like excited to see the movie version.
It'll be the longest running musical.
100%.
Yeah.
Someone did an I can't remember where I read this or heard this, but something was like the IP of Wicked is the most expensive thing that Universal owns. Is like Wicked that. Because the show has made so much money.
Yeah.
Because it's been like basically packed to the gills for its entirety of its run.
Yeah.
And now this movie is going to make, it's going to make like $18 bajillion. So
yeah. And they very smartly split it into 2 movies.
5 bajillion of that is going to be just me alone. So it's like,
will you dress as a different character every time?
I don't want. No, I'm not going to dress up, but I'm really excited about it. I'm not.
You're making me more excited, but not excited enough to see it before like it's early to mid-December.
I've been singing the songs like after I watched the musical in its entirety. I've just been singing the songs to my house as I'm like walking around, and I'm like, wow, this is going to be so fucking good. I just know, I feel it in my bones that it's going to be good.
We've only been here for 20 minutes, and I feel like these isolated 20 minutes, based on what we've said and what we have talked about, might be the gayest 20 minutes of any podcast that's ever aired across the internet.
Probably.
Moving
right along. The only
thing
gayer, wait, you know what I've been laughing about? I've been revisiting you talking about Drake getting pegged while he has 2 Birkins on his elbows.
Don't pretend he hasn't thought about it himself.
And 2 Birkins on his knee pits.
Sometimes I smoke pot too much before we do those fixes, and I don't remember everything that's been said, but it's flooding back to me now. By the way, Ariana's boyfriend, Ethan Slater, affectionately known around here as Got Your Nose.
When you put that on the email, I was like, who is this? Got Your Nose?
Got
like,
Your Nose?
I had no idea what it was. And then I clicked on the link.
Just in time for the green carpet to be rolled out for Wicked, his divorce is final, so he and Galinda can walk hand in hand.
How much money do you think Universal Studios paid that woman to settle their divorce? Because they need it to be like locked up tight so that him and her can be on the red carpet together and be fine, and it not be like this man who's in the middle of a divorce.
You couldn't pay me enough money. You really couldn't. I would show up at that premiere, honey,
with blood all over me like Carrie.
If you're gonna leave me, I'll lick the wounds. If you're going to leave me for the most famous person in the world, I'm going to crucify you until there's not an ounce of blood left in you. I'm going to keep nailing you to the cross.
I mean, no, but this is big. Like, will they? Okay, you've talked about this before, but like, will they arrive on the red carpet together?
I don't know.
I want to say,
it's going to be Cynthia and Ariana hand in hand everywhere.
I think they're going to be together in their... I mean, what will they wear to the premiere of this movie?
Here's the thing. If you're Ariana Grande and a reporter comes up to you, there are a billion things I want to talk to you about. If you're Ethan Slater, there's one thing I want to talk to you about. Leaving your wife for Ariana Grande. I don't care about how excited you are to be in Wicked. I don't care about what the research was for your role. I just want to look you in the eye and say, how could you do this to her? The mother of your children. Do they have children? Should I fact check
They have one.
this
Remember,
first?
she was like
the
basically
mother
pregnant.
Of your child.
They had one kid and it was like months old. And then he was like, bye.
Yeah, he doesn't. You know what? He needs to take his lumps. He needs for 1,000 people to ask him this so he can move on with his life. But he has to answer for it because you just have to. That's how
he's not. They're going to be like, the minute you ask him this, like you're pulled from the press line. Like,
they're going to hide him? They're going to hide him from the press?
No, I'm saying they're going to say to the press, like, you will not ask him this question. 100%. 100%.
Let's see how it goes. The Duchess of Schmuckers, known to the rest of the world as Meghan Markle. I only have one thing about Meghan before we get into the Harry of it all, but this is the headline. By the way, the New York Post's headlines are now as long as Fiona Apple album titles. Like they are like you're getting out of control. The headline, Meghan Markle is a dictator who terrifies staff, has reduced grown men to tears. Bombshell Hollywood Reporter expose claims. Whew, I almost had to take a breath in between all that.
I love whenever an outlet will like advertise that another outlet wrote an article. That is the best thing ever. It is very much the New York Post page 6 Daily Mail that it's like the news is that there's an article coming out, which is hilarious. It is news. When does this article drop? But we're reading every single word of it, right? Like I'll like listen to every letter.
I don't know. Hollywood Reporter expose claims. Well,
it is published. It's already, but not as many people. Why is this not everywhere?
Because the Post is probably exaggerating. It's probably not true.
Oh, it's like, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Why Hollywood keeps quitting on Harry and Meghan. It's like, oh, damn it.
But Harry's having a good week. He turned 40. Happy birthday, H. We love you here still. And he got a lot of money on his 40th birthday. Couple of billion pounds. And he also...
Yeah, he got the money, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a windfall, but it would be for us, but for him, It's probably just like,
like a month of security. Like a month
of like Gucci khakis or whatever the fuck he wears. But the shock of the week was not that he got the money and that not enough people are protesting it, but he got a birthday greeting from his brother and Kate on the internet. They were just like, happy 40th birthday to the Duke of blah, 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 the Duke of Smuckers. And, a lot of people are reading saying like it's the thawing of the iceberg. It's not. Like they're saying happy birthday because they're gracious. Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Now, when the palace posted a picture of Harry, it was a photo of Harry seated next to Meghan, and they cropped Meghan out of it. So this is causing like a controversy that doesn't even really exist because it wasn't like they weren't scissoring each other. They were just seated in chairs next to each other in this photo.
Dominic, don't stop defending them.
It's not even defending them. It's just, it's his birthday. They just didn't want her in the photo because it's not her birthday.
Yeah, because they hate her. Yes.
Well, sure they do. She killed the queen.
Yeah. You're so stupid.
She killed the queen.
This is tough. But could this be an olive branch? Meanwhile, the New York Post live update. Sean Diddy Combs pleads not guilty to sex trafficking charges.
I'm shocked.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm shocked. I think it would be great if wouldn't it be great if he just walked into court and screamed, I did it. Let's just get this over with.
Yeah, but he's not going to. He's going to fight tooth and nail every single
No, because these people, this is why I'm now starting to think that having money doesn't turn people bad. I think bad people become rich because they know they're going to be arrested and they need money for lawyers. This is how this has to work. Yeah. It's just insane. Like,
one day I'm going to need millions of dollars to defend myself, so I need to amass that wealth now.
The tens of millions of dollars that Harvey Weinstein has spent on his court case, and he comes into court, the guy can barely breathe. Like, someone just needs to push him down and get him over with. Like, he can barely even function. I'm going to move on.
The pop-up video on the New York Post while I'm sitting here is a video about J.D. Vance, and it says, J.D. Vance is a serious political figure who genuinely cares about average people. The perfect pick for Trump and America. Goodbye.
The New York Post, they want Donald Trump to win so badly. You have to step like you're in a pile of shit when you're looking for articles on the Post over all of these anti-Kamala, pro-Trump articles. I'm not even going to reveal who I'm voting for, but I mean, really. But it's just, it's too much. It's so propagandish.
It's ridiculous. Well, he loves the Post. He talks about it every day. So of course they're fucking jizzing over it. Oh, God. Anyway.
Patti LuPone, if you get a chance, we should actually post a link to this in our stories.
Everyone has seen it. Everyone has seen it.
We need to just post it like that we were talking about this. Aubrey Plaza is interviewing her roommate, Patti LuPone. And at one point is like, do you want to eat a death wing or apologize to Madonna for saying that she was a bad actress? And the way with which Patti LuPone doesn't break eye contact, blink, or even have one heartbeat before grabbing the death wing and swallowing it whole is truly a masterclass in how to be a gay icon. Please look at this video.
And then she's like, and let me go even for, instead of being like, I plead the fifth and I'm going to eat away. She then was like, let me actually double, triple, and quadruple down on how terrible I think Madonna is, and in every sense of the word, and explain it to you. She then goes on a rampage where she's like, she's a loser, saw her in concert, wasn't impressed, she can't sing, she's a terrible actor, Angela Weber can fucking choke and die. She's literally
she's had it
on a rampage.
She had it decades ago though, and she's been having it more since then.
She was in I saw some press for Agatha, the Agatha.
Yes. Oh
show.
God, I know what you're going to say.
And they're like, what do you think about Marvel? She's like, I've never seen it.
She's never seen a Marvel movie.
And they're like, are you excited about this? And she's like, sure. It's
she is one of those celebrities. RuPaul does this sometimes as well, where she's just it's a job. It's a gig. I took the gig. I'm doing it. And then I'm going to be done with it. She doesn't care about the history.
I'm not even going to pretend I'm suckling on the teat of Marvel. I'm just going to be here and say that it was fun to do. And I have no fucking idea what I did. And when I was acting,
she
I have no
doesn't.
idea. She has no idea. She just did it phonetically. She has no idea what the story of this show is at all.
She is a true legend. Speaking of true legends, this is a little bit sad, but I think we should talk about it because we do love Wendy Williams. But it's revealed in a report this week that for that documentary in which she appeared mostly incapacitated, except for when she was talking with her fake niece, China, Black China, she only got $82,000 for her appearance in the documentary about her and her current struggles. So,
but is that because that's what she signed on the dotted line to get, or is that because that's all that they paid her?
Well, I think the bigger question is, was she even in a position to know what she was doing, sign on any dotted line? Who, even a representative for her, should have asked for much, much more given the subject matter and the access they were getting.
Because it's saying they were filed by her guardian, Sabrina E. Morrissey.
Sabrina who? The teenage witch? I mean,
Sabrina,
it might as well be.
Yeah. Because this is the thing. If they're we're going to pay you $250,000 and then they end to only pay her $82,000, that's not yes. But if they're we're going to pay you $82,000 and you say, okay, and then you sign that or your guardian signs that, you then can't go back to them and be like, I want you to give me more money because this thing was successful. Like you signed.
Does that article say they're going back? Because I only know, I just think that they just revealed how much she got paid.
No, it's a suit.
Oh, they're suing because it was low. Got it.
Wendy Williams' conservator is suing A&E Networks, Lifetime, and the creators of her bombshell docuseries, claiming the host made chump change in comparison to the money they allegedly made. But again, like they didn't just roll up to her house with cameras and say, hi, we'll give you some money. Don't worry about it right now. Let's film. Like someone had to sign on. Unless they did, honestly. But like someone had to sign on the dotted line. And if you signed on the dotted line and it was like, you're going to make $82,000, then like, what are you, I don't understand what's happening. Do you know what I'm saying? And I love Wendy Williams and want her to, she should have made $5 million off of this. But sadly, here we are.
You know, we didn't talk about Dave Grohl last week. I don't really have too much. Why are we laughing? Are we just like straight men are stupid? I mean, I don't know. It's so just bad. Like Dave Grohl cheated on a rock star cheated on his wife of 20 years. Oh, of course he did.
And I said, no, one, of course, again, he could.
Isn't that part of it?
But like, this is the thing is like, how many of these times when this stuff like this happens, is it like, that was their arrangement forever. That like the wife was like, you're a rock star. I want to be like your wife and have all my bills paid. So I'm going to look the other way while you cheat on me every day of your life. But like whatever. And you, as long as you come back to me and your kids and then like someone gets pregnant and then it's like, now we have to reveal like, and then it's like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think this is.
It's just funny because Dave Grohl is not someone who I ever expected some sort of like sex scandal.
Yeah, like lecherous. Yeah, like.
But then it's like every day it's a new story. Like his mistress is some sort of alternative porn person, and he was jealous for years of his wife's platonic relationship with her tennis coach, and it's just like,
oh, brother,
why are we talking about this?
No, it's so weird.
So then that leads to the question: why are we talking about it? So yeah, I'll move on. Speaking of complete fucking morons, this story about Steve-O, I cannot.
I can't.
I am as offended as I am bemused by it, as I am like, what the fuck are you thinking? Apparently, as a stunt, he was going to get breast implants. He does not identify as a woman. He does not identify as anyone who would need bigger breasts. Let's put it that way. Then a trans woman talked him out of it because she was telling him,
why would you do that?
Look, why would you do this? Like, this is why. Here are the 88 reasons why that is a dumb fucking idea. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize what trans people go through. It's like, you didn't? How? How do you're in show business? How do you not know? Like, I don't believe you're just home watching Fox News all fucking day.
No, but I honestly, I mean, not for nothing. Where's Steve-O's career now? One. And two, how many trans people has he actually even ever spoken to in his life? I don't think many.
A very dumb idea.
You can't go back from that. Like, if he got breast implants, like he would be ruined for like what? I don't even understand what.
No, he could have them. I mean, people have their breast implants removed all the time.
But then you have no, Dominic. It's like
I'm not defending the choice. I mean, they've done other shit to their bodies that it's a miracle this guy's alive at all.
Alive,
to be honest
truly.
With you. I mean, we watched them like staple their scrotums to shit like for decades. They've been doing all this. This body modification is it's a bit much. It's very incendiary for a million reasons. And I'm glad that he was talked out of it. Also, you're a fucking idiot for even considering it.
And like for what?
For what?
Like, what was the point of this? Like,
we've made it this far and we still haven't spoken about the VMAs yet. Does that reflect their impact on us?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I saw Eminem with his like clones of himself. Cool.
Katy Perry did a decent job in her performance. I think
she did good. Again, the old school songs, when she did the part on The Wire, it was good.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like,
it was great. I loved when I saw Pink do it 15 years ago.
It's Pink like screaming it, like, and like throwing stuff around her house, or she's like,
the performance was good. Katie's performance was great.
When she spun up in the air and in that circle when she was singing E.T., that was great.
Yes. Then Orlando came out and they started talking and not singing, and I lost.
And then that was when it went on the tubes.
Don't talk. That neither one of you talk ever. Act or sing. That's it.
Yeah. And notice she didn't sing It's a woman's world and you'll burn up. She
You know,
did that
I
new
didn't
song with
notice that.
Doechii. No, she did her new song with Doechii, which is a little bit better. And a little bit. And I love Doechii. Are you kidding me? What it is, oh, what's up? Love that song.
I have a review of that song coming up in an Insta story later this week. Please come to my page.
Copy that. The da-da-dee-da-da-da, right?
Oh, I know it.
Okay.
Oh, I know it.
Oh, God.
Speaking of, and we actually weren't speaking about this. Speaking of this podcast predicting, suggesting, doing everything it can in its psychic powers to make actual things happen in the real world, why don't you tell the listeners about Ozempic?
Well, back in an episode where we fixed Rob Kardashian with Food Network's Damaris Phillips, my great friend. I love her so much. So funny. My pitch was that Rob write a memoir and then go away for 5 years and then come back skinny and have a entire line of weight loss drugs a la Ozempic, which obviously because of the Kardashians, we would call Ozempic. And Kourtney Kardashian last week announced that she was making her own line of Ozempic medication. So Kourtney's listening is all I have to say about that.
And if you're thinking as you're listening to this, you guys, that's a bit of a stretch. We think you are a bit of a stretch. How dare you? How dare you?
I mean, it's exactly what I said that they should do. She did it. So like, what else do you want me to say here?
I'm going to give some one-line stories right now, and then we're going to get onto a quick review of something we had the pleasure of seeing last week before we get into our fix. Kevin Hart is closing all of his restaurants.
Don't care.
Tom Cruise got paid $0 to do that silly stunt in the Olympics.
He shouldn't be paid anything for it.
Lil Wayne is still upset that he did not get asked to do the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I was talking to my friend Corey Frederick this morning, and she was saying, and she's like a hardcore Kendrick Lamar fan, and she was reminding me that Lil Wayne is like the one that kind of like brought Drake up, like Drake. Because he was young, because it was Young Money. He was like in that world. So if Kendrick Lamar brings Lil Wayne on to the Super Bowl, that is like extra slam against Drake. I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? It's going to happen, right?
Jane's Addiction. I'm sure by now many of you have seen the video of Perry Farrell taking a swing at Dave Navarro's on stage. And so their tour is canceled. Perry Farrell is very apologetic, especially to Dave Navarro. Apparently he's been sort of a hothead for some time. I don't know. No one has mentioned to me anyway, like substance abuse or anything or whatever, but he's just been in a bad mood for 40 years, to quote Seal Magnolias. And I don't know. I don't know if the band is done for those of you who are Jane's Addiction fans, but the tour is certainly done.
Dominic, I can't wait for us to do a live show and me tackle you over the back of a chair in the middle of it.
I won't get up. I'm too, like, this is all held together so precariously that if you were to do that, I would die on sight. I only look like someone who's mildly in shape. If the wind blows the wrong way, I'm hospitalized.
You're done.
It's not everything. I have to move a certain way in order to keep this bucket of bolts together.
Oh, God.
We rarely mention politics, but I do have to say Donald Trump Jr. getting caught making out with someone who's not Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Incredible.
It made me not just smile, but I got a boner about it, actually. And Donald Trump Jr. is disgusting.
Incredible.
Why does she rub me in every wrong way? It wouldn't matter who she was voting for. I just, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Yeah.
He had 5 children with his ex-wife, and then you breezed in there. That's what you get.
They really like put her out there too. Remember whenever she did that weird like Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers speech that was like crazy?
Oh, I remember it. I mean, I don't know that they put her out there though. I think she ran out there. I think she shot herself out of the gun.
100%.
My chief memory of the insurrection is the video of her cheering
in the background
in Video Village when all that shit was going on. Like, I didn't see anyone with the last name Trump like high-fiving about it, but I did see her cheering that the Capitol was being stormed and all this shit. So it's never going to be bye bitch as long as Fox News is there, but I hope those are the words DJT uses at you. And that's it. Donald Trump, quote of the week. I hate Taylor Swift. I don't know what else to say.
I mean,
I don't know what to say.
What's going to happen? Speaking of insurrections,
I don't know.
Like, what's going to happen?
I don't know.
Because this is bad.
It's just, is it though? I mean, it's bad in that it's just embarrassing for the globe that we have people that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are busy tweeting about Taylor Swift. Who it's good for is Taylor Swift, because if she ran for president, I believe at this point she'd win in a landslide. So if you're not a Swiftie yet, that's a train you might want to get on, because
she's going to be the dictator of the nation in like 4 years.
A moment where not liking her is going to get you jailed. So you better start memorizing some shit now.
Wildest dreams.
I just remember we don't have a fix today. We're just going to keep yammering, because this week, friend of the pod, Rebecca Bregman, our awards correspondent, returns for our first ever Emmys Extravaganza, where we're spending the whole rest of the episode talking about all of it, the awards, the fashions, the jokes, the cringes. But it was a pretty good year, and we'll bring this to you shortly. Before we go, to talk about,
friend of the pod, our child, MJ Stone, gave us 2 tickets to the, seated dress rehearsal?
The invited dress rehearsal.
Thank you.
Of the big gay jamboree.
This comes from like the creators of Titanic
and the producers of Barbie. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it was a laugh and a riot, and we had the best time. We thank MJ publicly for giving us these tickets to see the invited dress.
And to everyone at the Big Gay Jamboree for a delightfully hilarious, unhinged 90-minute intermission free, which is always a delight, I have to be honest. On a weeknight show, I always look for that.
Yeah.
Really just it was like eating a piece of cake, this thing. And if you like this podcast, you will probably like this musical. We can't tell you much more about it. I don't want to give anything away. But
I don't want to give anything away.
Many of the people we talk about are somehow in or referenced in this musical.
There's some very common themes is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yep. Ones that I'm just thinking about now. And one of those is, let's get loud.
Now, let's get to these vital messages so we can get Rebecca off the red carpet and in here talking shit about the Emmys. BRB.
Now at T-Mobile, get 4 5G phones on us and 4 lines for $25 a line per month when you switch with eligible trade-ins. All on America's largest 5G network.
Minimum of 4 lines for $25 per line per month with autopay discount using debit or bank account. $5 more per line without autopay, plus taxes and fees and $10 device connection charge. Phones via 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off devices early. See T-Mobile.com.
Since 2013, Bombas has donated over 100 million socks, underwear, and T-shirts to those facing homelessness. If we counted those on air, this ad would last over 1,157 days. But if we counted the time it takes to make a donation possible, it would take just a few clicks. Because every time you make a purchase, Bombas donates an item to someone who needs it.
Go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code Wondery for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/Wondery, code Wondery.
Listeners, it's the first annual Emmys Extravaganza on fixing famous people, because we somehow didn't do one last year. We just did like a little recap, but now we're doing an entire episode with one of our faves and yours, Rebecca Louise Bregman.
Now, Rebecca, I texted you the other day and said, did I confirm you for Monday? And you said no. And I was like, well, I almost texted you back and said, well, you should just assume that you're coming on because you are the awards correspondent.
I did assume. And I said to my assistant, I yelled at her, obviously, and then threw my Filofax at her. And I was like, you always make the Monday after award show for me free. You fucking see you next Tuesday. And she said, of course, Miss Bregman. So
I heard she then took her trapper keeper and smacked you with it like it was an open
and I
hand.
said, I deserve that. And then we had a beautiful talk, and it's fine. We do that. It's the game we play.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like just like Naomi Campbell. Yeah,
yes,
like you play that game with her. Yeah,
exactly.
Beautiful.
In general, I thought that the show was lovely. It did.
Did I.
They kept a lot of those nostalgic things that they did at the last Emmys in January, which I'm old. I love that. I love the TV. I love nostalgia for television.
I'm just having a moment where I feel like, Matlock, if you will, High Potential, if you will, like all these shows. It's
only taken us 1 minute and 50 seconds to mention Matlock.
I feel like TV's having a renaissance, and I'm here for it.
Listen to
and
me.
I really
if you say Dr. Odyssey one time, I'm leaving the room.
Cannot wait for Dr.
Every time that the commercial would come on, I thought of you, and I almost was going to text you and just be like, Rebecca, here's your new show. And then when Joshua Jackson went up there, like to present the award to that man, I was like, there's Dr. Odyssey.
He looks amazing. Okay, Dom, you don't want to basically watch fucking Love Boat meets ER? You do. That's the pitch. I want to watch it.
Is Joshua Jackson playing Dr. Odyssey and Don Johnson's the captain of the boat?
He's playing Steubing. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Donald Louise Johnson and Joshua Louise Jackson are on a show where he's a doctor on a boat.
As an aside, I had no idea how tall and hot Joshua Jackson was.
Yeah, he looks
so
great.
hot.
Unfortunately,
so hot.
Every time he spoke, he kept getting douchier to me. Like I was losing it. I was losing my boner of those moments.
I just
and while we're on the subject of tall people, and we mentioned Don Johnson.
Yes.
Don Johnson standing next to Jimmy Smits was sort of like I was watching a live version of Mice and Men. Is Jimmy Smits a giant? Like what is going on there?
Or is Don Johnson a shorty, right?
Maybe. Is Don Johnson a short king? Who else was standing next to him? Who was the third?
Oh my God. It was, who was it? It had to be a woman, right?
Oh, it was Niecy Nash Betts.
Niecy Nash. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Don Johnson's 5'11".
I know. We looked this up last night. And Jimmy Smits is 6'3". He must have been wearing heels.
Don Johnson in the papers is 5'11". So what is he really? 5'9"?
5'8".
Well, he's probably shrunk over the years as well.
Yeah.
As we all do. I thought the show was really good. I
agree.
Want to marry Dan Levy now more than I did before.
Yeah, you really do. You specifically really do. Yeah.
Love.
And I want to marry Eugene, so that would be that'd be so cute.
Imagine that family photo if you guys were related.
They did a great job, and the Schitt's Creek reunion at the very end brought a single tear to me. I thought the whole show was, again, as the one in January, I just thought it was well produced. There's a little dissent online because some of the TV cops and TV lawyers, they didn't pick like the most quintessential of those people, but
sure. But like what? Okay.
Like Grays or ER. I mean, there was one ER, but no Grays. I agree. I think some people thought the show was a little boring, but I don't know.
No, but this is the thing. I really enjoyed it because there was no like hijinks.
Right.
There was.
There was.
Well, let's just pause. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cookies were done.
Dominic's like doing a Food Network show while we're shooting. Okay. Like, by the way,
it's another podcast.
No, he's like doing another podcast where he's doing live cooking demos.
Great. Do you like slice off cookies once a night and put them in the oven? Yeah, you're that like fat almond mom. That almond mom is
like. We're keeping all of this in.
I eat one cookie a day, and I always make. I don't make them from scratch. I buy the ones that you get in the eggs and butter aisle, which you just sort of cut them in 12s and then put them on the pan. Yeah, and I eat one a day.
I was saying that I heard that some people thought it was boring, but I prefer, and Chris was saying at least there was no hijinks. I prefer that. Yeah.
I want no that's the thing. There was no like viral moments, and there were no like people showing up in like assholeness, like in the sense of dress. You know what I mean? Like no one was wearing like a dress that was like too big to fit in the seat, like on purpose to be an asshole, like and get attention. And I loved that. And it like, yes, it was quote unquote boring, but it actually like made it more fun to watch because it wasn't some like ridiculous bullshit that we were like, oh my God, this happened. Like, it was actually just.
We were the audience for this show.
Correct. That's right.
We definitely were. And I will have you know that this was The Hollywood Reporter just emailed me. Emmys jumped by 54%.
No.
And have stopped the streak of all-time lows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop it. Really?
54% only on the Emmys means an increase of like 2 million viewers, but that's still a big deal.
No, it's a lot. Rebecca's crying.
We're back.
You are actually crying.
Dr. Odyssey? Can we mention
it's definitely because of Dr. Odyssey, obviously.
No, okay. Yeah. I mean, there was one low.
Oh.
Which?
Jelly Roll.
Yeah, that was a low.
It was a strange choice.
Strange.
It was also like, the song was like, it's okay to not be okay. And I'm like, this is about people that are dead.
They're dead. They're not okay. They're not
they're definitely
okay. They are
okay.
Dead.
Yeah.
I believe that song was suicide prevention, and this.
No, yes. Like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Like, which is, again, like beautiful and nice, but like, it was not fitting. And like, I don't know.
It was too big of a swing, I thought. It was just too big of a swing. And it seemed longer than usual. They also did, in the middle of the broadcast, what I think was a 20-minute DEI moment.
Oh, good God, yes.
It started out okay when John Leguizamo came out and started talking about his full-page ad in the Times about representation and all this shit. And they successfully made jokes about it. Like John Leguizamo was serious and then said, and I changed the Academy. And then they were like, well, no, actually, Chris Abrego was elected many months before.
Yeah. Hilarious.
It was great. So it was like a perfect bit. But then the president of the Academy came out and it felt a little too much then like a lecture. And I went to the bathroom.
Yeah,
I didn't even have anything
to
do. I just stood in the bathroom until I knew it was over. I even refused to actually dispose of waste during that time. I was that upset. I was clenched. But it was too much. It was too lectury. They got too lectury.
I agree. Like John Leguizamo's thing was hilarious and good, and it was like not a lecture, but then and it was good, but then it was over. We didn't need to hear from or have that guy come out and then like be a part of it, and it would have been good. It was like too much of a setup to then be about this guy. Yeah. And it's sad because that's like an important thing that they need to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like, it is like a very important thing to talk about at the Emmys. And it's like, and then it turned into like the longest dragging part of the whole thing.
It was too
much. And that's the thing with these award shows now, is like, they never know what is enough, what's not enough. Like if it's too woke, I don't know what the phrase is, but you know what I mean? They just sometimes go a little overboard. And I have to say, I think we always feel like this, and I don't want to repeat what we say all the time, but that's the fucking nature of these award shows, is like, they're going to do something like that. They're going to like do some sort of bullshitty thing that they think they have to do. And that's why we watch it. That's what we're watching for. And everyone's like, that's too cringe. They're fucking cringe. These award shows are cringe. I mean, they're also cringe.
There was only one more cringe thing, was when they did that weird Johnny Walker Blue commercial with the guy. That was terrible.
Do you know what they need, Chris? And if we could fix that, they need housewives producers who know how to produce
branded, like a sponsored thing.
Yeah.
Because it was so weird, because it was like the cousin from... It was the cousin from The Bear. Yeah. And then it was that guy from that Red, White, and Royal Blue, who is so hot, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was like these two men who have never met before, never spoken before in their lives. And you could have had like, I'm trying to think of like basically anyone else other than the two of them, but like
John Hamm, somebody who's like whiskey drinker, or
like Jimmy Kimmel and freaking, what's his name?
Guillermo?
Either Jon Stewart or frickin' Guillermo. What's the other one? Who am I thinking
Stephen
of?
Colbert, Seth Meyers.
Stephen Colbert. Yeah. Okay.
That would be
guys,
funny.
We have to talk about Seth Meyers.
Okay. Is that Ozempic? That's not Ozempic, is it?
I don't know, but Seth Meyers looks like, I texted you both. I said he looks like a British woman.
Yes.
And then also, what was the Eddie Redmayne and like the Danish girl? That's like what he looks like.
Oh my God.
I know, that's horrible. But like that's the vibes that I was like, his head was, his cranium was like, his cup runneth over, but then his eyes were like sunken back. Like his face is, what's happening? Maybe he's had a little work done and it didn't settle yet. No, or is he sick? Like,
oh my God.
Christopher.
No, he looked bad. Yeah. And it looks like his head was deformed.
I just think like maybe Dom is hitting on something. These people are getting to be on TV middle age, and either you swing David Letterman or you swing this way, right?
And there's a lot of like long, short haircuts on men going on.
Okay.
Like longer hair, but not long like hair like a woman, but like still all in the tight up, like below, above the ears, but like long in the back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it looked good on like a few people, but like again, Seth Meyers, I was like, what is this haircut? And that one director that got up, it was like, he had like a mullet, but it was like short. It was like a bob mullet. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure somebody we know knows Seth. If anyone listening wants to ask Seth Meyers if he has cancer, then
give Seth the link to this and Chris's number. Let's talk about fashion before we talk about the award. It was a pretty simple evening, to be honest with you. My home runs for the night. No, and I have to say, my home run for the night is Miss Selena Gomez. I thought she has never looked better in her life. Everything from the dress to the makeup to the whoever did her hair, she just looked like what she is, which is now a billionaire. She looked like a billionaire.
Yeah.
She looked like what Lauren Sanchez thinks she looks like. She looked fantastic. She looked fantastic.
Thank you. Wow. Speaking of faces that like need to be dissected.
Madonna mia. Do not ever shoot that woman too close. I am sorry, everybody. I apologize, but there is a thing. It's just it's too much. It's too much. Come on.
Yeah.
Cat lady. Yeah. I thought Ayo Debre looked amazing. I loved her dress. It was very interesting style, just colorful, lovely. Yeah, I feel like everyone looked really good. I'm just going to grab some pics and see.
I didn't like Ayo's dress was fine. It wasn't like one of my favorites of the night.
I just thought it was different and pretty. Maya, what did we think about Maya Rudolph? Too drapey? I don't know.
She always does that though. She's always she loves a cape. She pulls it off. I don't always love every dress that she's in, but I thought she looked pretty last night.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at Naomi Watts, and yes, you're right, Dominic. You want to say what you said?
She's turning into Nicole Kidman.
She absolutely fucking looks like Nicole Kidman in this picture.
Yeah.
Her dress was beautiful. She's beautiful, but she looks like Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
It's that same, like, because isn't she also Australian? It's that like Australian, like zany woman, like a frazzled English woman, but Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, You know who else I really liked was that Anna Sawai, the one that won for Shogun. Like that red dress.
Beautiful.
And her little, like her decolletage. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like A Star is Born. I was like, oh, you're gorgeous.
Oh,
yeah. Like, you're gorgeous. This dress is, your body be banging. Like, dress is killer. She's good. That show, I really tried. I mean, we'll get into the shows later, but I really tried. But she's like a star in that show. Like, she's this like crazy, like assassin woman who's like a nutcase. And she like,
Let's talk about Connie Britton for a second. I want to talk about Connie Britton.
Okay.
So any woman of a certain age that can still pull off a strapless, you have me. Susan Lucci is 104 years old. She still kills it every time with the strapless. It's her thing. Connie Britton comes out there in the strapless. I'm looking at her. I am always transfixed by Connie Britton. She could read the phone book and I'm paying attention. I just need to know, and I mean this in the most respectful way. I feel like every time I see Connie Britton, she has had sex like within 5 minutes beforehand without removing her dress. You know what I mean?
Like in the bathroom,
she was in the green room,
waiting in the wings to go on stage.
Totally.
Yeah, like,
and she just comes out here and like this sort of like, in the same way that Jessica Lange, like every time she talks, I look at her, I'm like, where were you 5 minutes ago? I always want to ask Connie Britton and Jessica Lange that question.
Yeah.
Let me see your underwear. Come on, what's going on?
No,
where have you
her
been?
underwear is like in a pretzel, like
in a trash can in the green room. It's gone.
She was in a coat closet with the bellhop.
Always, there are some actresses that are always holding secrets.
Yeah.
Jessica Lange, Connie Britton, all of them.
Okay, speaking of Connie Britton's like clothing, that one time I was at Cafe Select.
Okay, at one time, we don't know this. Go ahead.
we were sitting outside and we were like, out of nowhere, I like turn around my head and
I do know this.
You don't know the story. And Connie Britton.
I do not know this story.
Okay, well, Dominic's doing another. How are your cookies? He's eating one. I turn my head and like Connie Britton is like going into the restaurant to get seated, like at Cafe Select. So we're all like, oh my God, it's Connie Britton. And then my eye drifts down and she is true. When I tell you she is wearing in Soho, New York, probably Old Navy, like 99-cent plastic flip-flops, white Britney Spears pocket peeker denim, Daisy Duke cut off shorts, and like a blue t-shirt that is like from maybe Hollister, like a baby, not a baby tee, but remember those t-shirts that were like, they still have them, but they're like kind of see-through, but they're not. It's kind of like a beachy tee that you would get and it would say Abercrombie on it. Like that's basically what she was wearing to go to like a trendy, like pretentious upscale restaurant in Soho.
Was she in Mrs. Coach? Yeah,
and her hair was like all fall. I mean, you could tell it was her. I mean, it's Connie. Like her hair was all big and like it was unmistakable that it was her. She wasn't trying to hide, but she was wearing truly what like my mom wore to like sweep the driveway when I was like 15 years old. Like
your mom wore to the Stop and Shop to get some milk because she forgot milk. Yeah.
But like not even. Like my mom would be better dressed than this.
Yeah,
like it's wild. Like not even. Yeah. So
she's gorgeous, so she can pull it off.
Again, maybe she was in a walk of shame. She might have just been banged out behind like a dumpster somewhere.
What is it? If you call it frazzled Englishwoman, what are we calling this? Like banged? You're right. It's like we got a workshop what that look
like
is.
Freshly banged out. Yeah, freshly banged out.
Freshly fingered Southern football coach's wife.
Yes. Okay. Now we have it. And that's what the look is for fall 2024, everyone.
Hello, children of TikTok. Do that.
You heard it here first.
Can we switch over to one man, actually?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Jonathan Bailey, who can do no wrong regardless from fellow travelers.
Who can get, to quote Eric, my friend Eric, can get this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
He really can. He was wearing Armani. He wore, I noticed a lot of overly dramatic, like overly big cummerbunds on some very hot people last night. So I'll try to pull off the trash bag version of that come Christmas time. But a lot of people were not wearing ties. He was wearing a full black tux with like a cream colored satin open titty shirt and looked absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, he's hot.
Fuckable.
He always is though. He always is.
Those sex scenes in Fellow Travelers like blow your hair right back. Like you're like, holy shit. Like
who is the guy? He's got 3 names. His name is Tyler, and he's from Abbott Elementary. And
he's Tyler. Hold on, sorry.
He's nominated every year. He's very funny on the show.
He's so funny. Yeah.
Cheryl Lee Ralph, by the way, looked absolutely gorgeous last night. She had on a very simple black dress. They
really did. Janelle James. They all looked really good.
I love Janelle's hair. Like,
Tyler James Williams.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He looked, I thought, stunning. He has like tatted arms. Mm-hmm. He's in phenomenal shape. He wore a muscle shirt. And
I think he's so handsome too.
He looked so gorgeous. By the way, speaking of Janelle James, with all due respect to Liza Colon-Zayas, who won an Emmy for
Agree with you, whatever you're going to say.
Janelle James on Abbott Elementary.
She's so good.
Is the funniest part of the show.
She's the funniest part of that show. And I don't understand why she's always overlooked. I don't understand why that performance isn't more a part of a conversation the way that like Megan Mullally was on Will and Grace. Like,
that's a good point.
It seems so automatic to me because she's so good.
She's so good.
Every line she says is the funniest. I mean, but it's the Jenna Maroney effect kind of. It's like every single line she says is the funniest line of the scene. Yeah. And so it's like, they're like, well, okay.
Right.
It's the same thing, actually.
You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. So, I mean, do we want to get into like the fucking bear of it all or what?
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest story coming out of this.
That's the biggest fix that they got to be fixing. Like I said last night, morning show should be comedy. The bear should be drama.
And what did I say? The morning show is already a joke. So it's like something like that. Although I was sitting there like looking at the actors and I was like, like when Greta Lee came out to present something, I was like, what's going to happen to like UBS or whatever the fuck it's called? What's the network called?
Like I think you're right.
UBS or UBC or something. I'm like, what's going to happen next season? Like I'm in, I'm a viewer, but it is a fucking joke.
It's camp. It's a farce.
It's ridiculous.
And Bear is the saddest show on fucking television. Like enough already. And I think, as Dom said,
you're saying that the reason that The Bear is nominated for comedy, that's the producer's decision, and that the Academy has no say in who submits into what category.
I think this is new as of a couple years ago. I read.
This is new as a couple of years ago, but maybe next year they could. I mean, the third season of The Bear. What is funny about the last season of The Bear?
Nothing.
Nothing. And then it fucks up what Dom was saying. It fucks up everyone from Abbott, Hacks, like Hannah Einbender, like at least Gene Smart won. Thank goodness. Right. At least Hacks won.
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so. I mean, and then I get it. I guess like. Well, I don't give a shit. At this point, they should not care. They should Oprah Winfrey it. Was it Oprah who said, don't give me an award anymore?
Yeah.
Was it Oprah?
Yeah.
Like, they're
Bill
fine.
Cosby. Yep.
Right. Well, Bill Cosby.
Who?
I don't know who that
Hacks
is.
winning. Well, Hacks... Because you don't remember. Hacks.
Oh, my God.
Oh, bow down to Dom.
Dear
Hacks won for several reasons. Not the least of which is that it is an amazing show, and this season was
chef's kiss.
The best of the best season yet.
Yeah,
that's an actual comedy that has elements of drama, like that. And it still belongs in the comedy department. But
I agree with you.
A lot of people feel like Hacks winning was a rebuke to the ridiculousness of The Bear being nominated in comedy.
And I think The Bear should either move to drama or should say, you know what? No, like we're fine.
But Hacks, when I put on Hacks, I'm like titillated to like see what's going to happen.
It's so good. The writing is, I think the writing in The Bear is very good. I feel like The Bear is a lot about TV production. I just feel like there's a lot of parallels.
Yeah,
sure. Like, so was Mad Men. Honestly, that's what Mad Men was about. Working in a writer's room, all of that. But you're a drama. Just be a drama or say, you know what? We're going to open this space up so our friends in comedy could actually win some awards.
Stop tainting the show is a good show. Like stop tainting the reputation of the show by being this show that's like taking awards away from these people that deserve them.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just.
I think if they're going to be a comedy, they should just switch the name of the title and just make it a funnier animal.
Yeah. What's funny? Platypus?
The possum. The platypus is great. The platypus is great.
The platypus.
I was going to say the boll weevil, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that's good.
Is that an animal? Did I make that up?
A bug? I don't know. Llama?
The boll weevil.
The alpaca.
The alpaca. That's funny. Guys, vote on the Patreon. What's the funniest animal?
Let's do porcupine. Let the porcupine.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I really liked was that you had Dan and Eugene. Incredible, by the way. We barely touched on it, but like hilarious.
Yeah.
Their chemistry was undeniable because they are father and son.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like two idiots that have never fucking spoken to each other being like, we are like, good cop and bad cop. They were funny. They did great. They weren't being stupid or like, and you know what they did? You know what no one did? We didn't get one of my least favorite thing that was like, we're actors. Oh, we are? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we're actors.
Oh,
we're this. The one version of that they did so well, which was when all the SNL people were up there and were like, but that wasn't, it's not even the same thing, but that was like in the vein of that. That's like the correct way to do it.
Right.
That is like, you lost so many times. That's so sad. It's so sad.
When Dan and Eugene did the bit where they were on opposite sides of the center orchestra,
falling on the ground laughing, I was dying,
pissing my pants laughing. I thought it was happening.
And they shot it in a way where you believed that it was real.
Yeah,
like they had the camera run after him. They had like all the I was like, oh, this really is real. And then I'm like, oh no, it's not. Never mind. They have all that
because Eugene Levy's that good. Like he is like
he is that good.
Perfect straight man. Like perfect.
Yeah.
And there was no like actors like we love editors and editing is great. I mean. You're an editor. Yes, editing. What? I mean, what? Like, there was no fake, I don't know what's going on stuff that was bad, which thank God they took that note because I fucking can't stand that. And no one did that. And what I really liked is that they let everyone kind of do their own little monologue. Like, instead of presenting the awards, like some of the awards, they were up there for like minutes making jokes. It wasn't like their stupid little scripted thing that they did. Like, it was truly like monologue jokes. Right. It wasn't just, the thing about comedy acting is that it's harder than you think. Like, right, Martin Short? Like, yeah, Steve Martin, blah, blah, blah. It was like, they all had, like, it was a real monologue between whoever was up there. And it was like joke. And
it was all funny. It was all very funny, and none of it was
And then
trained.
it was,
until so the Johnny Walker Blue thing came up, and you were like, why would you curse the show this way? Why would you lower the dignity of an otherwise perfect broadcast?
Because they had to pay for it. Because they had to pay for it. Yeah.
Which again, why isn't everyone just drinking Johnny Walker Blue that's on the stage? Like, that's way better.
Yeah. This is the editing award sponsored by Johnny Walker. Fine. I don't give a shit anymore. Just do that. All of our shows need that.
Yeah, I don't care.
Another rant that I will get into, but yes. Yeah.
Eben Moss-Bacharach has won 2 Emmys this year and is about to star in the Fantastic Four. And the only thing I will ever remember is this Johnny Walker Blue ad, because it was so cringe.
Where they were like facing away from the camera too.
I thought I was having a seizure. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, is this Bravo? Are they about to go into the Barbie movie right now? Gosh, Chris, that was a great film. Oh my God, Barbie's empowering, isn't she?
It was so bad.
Oh God. No, it really was. And it wasn't even, again, like they just like stood there and like looked at the Johnny Walker Blue bottle for a long time. Like nothing happened. They were like,
it was very weird.
It was like, come here often. And
seriously, they should have fucked or something, like just to like liven it up.
Or like, it would have been funny if he was like, come here often. And he was like a few times or something. And then they like pretended to flirt. Like, that would be funny.
Yes.
You know, then we would all be buying Johnny Walker Blue bottles for each other, being like, look at this, the gayest whiskey alive. Like, ha, ha, ha.
It should have been a gay bar, and he should have said, I want Johnny Walker. What kind? Blue. Like my balls right now. I bet they'll reshoot it. You can have that, Emmys.
Emmys, you got to hire Dom next year as one of your writers.
Yeah, for
please.
real.
Just for the real integration. I mean, I think whoever wrote the other shit actually did a great job.
Integrations, branding.
When Kathy Bates, the line of the night for me was when Kathy Bates said, do you know how hard it was for me to get a date after Misery? Also fell down at that.
Incredible.
They did incredible. It was great.
I like the reunions. I like all of that stuff. Like, it's good, and it doesn't need to, it's not gimmicky.
Yeah.
There's the one place to do it. It's here at the Emmys.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It would be gimmicky anywhere else, but this is a celebration of television. So you should always celebrate the history. And TV's been around for so long. You have such a well to pull from. Like, anyone who you felt wasn't represented last night, just put them on next year. Like, there's always going to be people.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not cringy. It is the thing it is. Like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a celebration, and it just made me, I don't know, I just felt TV's back, baby. Dr. Odyssey, Matlock, High Potential.
Well, right. None of these reality shows, I might add. So scripted television is definitely in another golden age.
Well, Traitors.
Oh, what about that? Everyone seemed to be so shocked ending RuPaul's Drag Race's streak, but the Traitors is very hot right now. It's also a great show.
And everyone watches it. Like, even
everybody.
People like so many, that was the thing, is like I can talk about it now because the cat's out of the bag, but like when Dorinda and Dolores were going to be going on Traitors, I was like, guys, like there's friends of mine that have never watched Housewives ever, and they're going to know who you are now because everyone watches Traitors. Right. Like, this is like a big thing, you know? And so,
And also not that big of you wouldn't call it an upset. I mean, Drag Race has won
so many
multiple years in a row.
It's like in a row for like 10 years.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's exciting. It's exciting when that happens. Yes. I think, and he won Best Host, and deservedly so. And it's exciting. So I don't remember some of the other unscripted stuff. I forgot to look it all up, but I'm sure it was all amazing.
Did you have a bit with Padma Lakshmi talking about being nominated 7 times and not winning?
No, 17
times. For what category? This one. That's a good sport. Like, that's a good fucking sport, right?
Yeah. That is a good sport. That's a great sport. What else? What about, I guess it's so different now because of limited series, and like, that's the difference about, I guess we used to have miniseries, right, Dom and Chris? It was miniseries. So
well, that's what I was going to say. The like variety show, or what was the thing that was SNL was in? It was like just SNL and Last Week Tonight. There was like, there's no other show.
Variety. It's variety.
Because it's variety, right? Because
they moved that from talk, like they moved the talk shows off of that.
And Black Girl Sketch Show was always the only other nominee in that category, but it's gone now.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the shows?
Yeah. I was going to talk about miniseries, because I was thinking about this today. I remember, I have not watched Shogun. I am anxious to, though.
Me too.
I watched like 3 episodes of it. And what I will say is that on paper, it's like my perfect show. Like, you know what I mean? It's like feudal, like China.
Right.
And they're like
Japan.
Japan. And like, they're like, it's going to be like war, like torn stuff. Like it's exactly what I want to watch. It's just very slow at the beginning. Yeah. It's about this guy. It's very much like The Last Samurai.
Right. Yeah,
it's like a white man that like goes over to like Japan and is like going to, is like, oh, I have to assimilate into this like culture. And then it's just like a lot at the beginning with just this one guy who's like a British man that's whatever. But like it started to get good, but I was like, okay, I had to like watch so much of this to get there. But I'm assuming that in the second half of the show, it like really goes because everyone was like ranting. I mean, when they would win the awards, you would hear the entire audience like up out of their seats, like screaming for them.
I think I'm going to make that a winter show. I think that's a perfect winter show. Everyone says you can't watch, have your phone and watch it.
No, you have to watch it because half of it is in Japanese, so you really can't miss it. Yeah.
I love that. I'm excited to watch it. I bet it looks beautiful. I bet it sounds beautiful. And I think it's just a matter of us paying attention, which is not a bad exercise to have. So, yeah.
I read an article online that said, thank God Shogun came out this year because it sort of saved television and the Emmy Awards, at least in the drama category, because everything else was like mildly lackluster and repetitive, and that this was something exciting. And also, the speech they gave at the end when they won Best Drama, I thought was wonderful because it sort of is the future of television. I don't know if it's the future of unscripted. I'm sure there's a way that it can be. Actually, it can be, given that The Traitors is entirely shot in Scotland. This is sort of the future where it's multinational and still expensive. I loved that he described the show as expensive because that's important because it's about taking risks. And a lot of the shows that won this year were risky shows. Baby Reindeer, a ridiculous premise,
which was
fucking fantastic,
incredible. Like it was crazy. Every episode, you're glued to. You want to talk about paying attention? You're like glued to the TV because every single shot of it, you're like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next?
I was surprised they put Jessica Gunning in supporting. I feel like that was more strategic.
I agree with you
because she felt lead to me, but I get that she probably wouldn't.
She was fantastic. I'm so happy for her.
Same.
I'm so happy for her. She was phenomenal in that. And like exactly what he said, you have to take risks. Shogun, it's something like they went over. It wasn't even that long. The shooting went over, let's say, a couple weeks. I'm still listening to the goddamn Barbara Streisand fucking book. I'm 20 hours. I swear to God, guys. She's just started Yentl.
Oh my God.
You have miles to go before we sleep.
And the Yentl chapters are 5 hours long. Anyway, but she's talking about if she goes, they just talked about Heaven's Gate and Michael Cimino and how the studios got really, really nervous because that was so much money and it was the biggest flop at the time. And then that's when the studio shut down and we're like, you cannot spend that much money. And there was it just was like, there was all these mergers and the company Orion Pictures she was going to work with became this, became that. And they were like, you don't have the budget you had. And she had to back her own money. And I was like, wow, this is very reminiscent of what is, it's a little more dire now, but it is very reminiscent of what is going on today. And I agree with you. Something that is not a Marvel or something that is not a franchise like that is great when they get a lot of
qualifies as risk. Also, when you said mergers for a moment, I thought you said murders. And I was like, how did I miss this? Did Mandy Patinkin kill someone on the set?
John Peters killed her. Yeah.
No, but that it shows you like, oh, Baby Reindeer was like the sleeper hit of the whole year. Like everyone, when it came out, everyone was talking about it. And it was like, and it's like, we actually don't want all this like Marvel shit and like whatever, you know what I mean? We actually don't want this thing that's this legacy, whatever.
Just give us alternative programming. That's all.
No, sure. But I'm saying like these little one-off things, like people actually really like them when they're done really well.
Yeah.
By the way, I remember back when miniseries were called miniseries because they aired on broadcast television over the period of like a week or whatever.
Lonesome Dove.
Oh my God. All of these I watched as a kid. And they were
Merlin.
Merlin.
Do you remember that one?
I remember, but I'm sure that I didn't watch it. Who was in it?
What's the guy from Jurassic Park?
Oh, Sam O'Neill.
Is that who it is?
Let's see.
Merlin. It's on Peacock. I have it in my thing because I want to watch it again.
I watched the original Shogun in 1980. I was 9 years old. I vividly remember watching it. And all those shows, Winds of War, the Thornbirds. I remember I was only 6, but I remember when Roots was on television and everyone in elementary school was talking about it because all of our parents were watching it.
Much like
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill is Merlin.
Sam Neill. Yeah.
Sam Neill is in Merlin. And then Isabella Rossellini is like the witch sister that has like no voice.
Helena Bonham Carter. Wait, I need to. Miranda Richardson, Rucker Hauer, Isabella Martin Short.
Peacock. It's on Peacock.
When did this air?
1998. So
I remember being a child and it was like a 2-parter or a 3-parter. And I remember it being like gripping the nation.
Okay. Well, maybe a rewatch.
Merlin.
Yeah.
Wait, and another one that was like that. Sorry. It was called The 10th Kingdom. Do you remember this one?
No.
Oh my God. It was like so good. Who was in this one?
See, when I think of miniseries, I think about V starring Jane Badler and V. Oh my God, where they were lizard people.
When they redid V, I watched it on ABC.
Oh God, it was so good. I wish it continued.
Oh my God. I remember The 10th Kingdom.
Yep. Don't you?
Yes. Wow. Miss Diane Wiest and Miss Anne Margaret Dom. Ed O'Neill is in this one.
And Ed O'Neill's in it, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we need to do, I don't want to do another podcast. I was going to say, do we need to do a
Patreon? We'll do it on the Patreon.
A Patreon of
just
some
like
of
these old like mini series. I think that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Here's a real question. How did 3 Body Problem end up on the list for best drama series?
Dominic. It is one of the worst things I have ever watched in my entire life. And it's apparently like one of the most expensive shows they've ever made. I have no idea why, because they didn't do anything with the money.
It's a mess. That show's a mess. I couldn't finish it.
Please know that a man died, like brokering the deal between, it was supposed to be Amazon and this big game company. I listened to this ridiculous, weird podcast about it. The guy that owned the rights to the book or whatever was selling it to Amazon. And then he like said no, because he wanted to co-produce it and took the deal off the table from Amazon. And it was going to be like a $4 billion like deal or something, like something absolutely ridiculous, like for this stupid ass fucking book. And then a couple months later, the guy died.
Jesus.
And everyone thinks that he was poisoned to death.
Oh my God.
Well, it was about China, so why not Chinese, right?
But and they were like pissed because the company was pissed because he was like, we want to co-produce it. And then Jeff Bezos was like, no. And so then they sold it to Netflix.
Wow. I count on the Emmys to let me know what I missed out on not watching, because no one can watch everything.
And nowadays.
It made me want to watch Ripley.
Agree.
It made me want to
100%.
watch True Detective. It made me want to not watch Slow Horses or Fallout. Not
I love
interested
Slow
in
Horses.
any of it.
I absolutely love it. I'm holding season 4 because I love it so much. Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. It's, alcoholic. I guess I love alcoholic detectives, you guys.
Language.
Yeah.
It's an old alcoholic ex-MI6 agent who just farts a lot, but always gets the job done. So it's basically me.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want. No, it's exactly what you want. Always gets the job done is literally like what you want at the end of the, like, what show they need to bring back is
Matlock.
Done.
Rebecca is Poker Face.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Like
sure
those,
that's
why are
coming
there?
back.
There
Yeah, it
needs
must
to
be
be
coming
more
back.
of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that we love.
That's basically Columbo. Like that's
Yeah,
what
it's
that
the same-
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But this, this is
I couldn't
6
finish
episodes.
that. I couldn't finish Poker Face. It just got on my nerves. I don't know why. I love her, but I just couldn't take it anymore.
Too much of her doing her shtick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that I watched too many of them in a row, and that's something you have to watch on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I agree. And that's fine too, I think, watching shows on a weekly basis.
Remember that?
Remember that?
Remember all that?
Dr. Odyssey?
Dr. Odyssey, Rebecca's.
Just
Dr.
remember when there was an episode of a show and it wasn't every single episode had to be the most special episode of a television show that ever existed. It could have just be some dumb Christmas
I love
party
that Don
episode.
Johnson just keeps showing up on these ABC shows. Do you remember a couple of years ago they tried to do a nighttime soap opera called Blood and Oil with him as the patriarch, and Amber Valletta was his wife?
Yes.
And then his ex-wife was who is that lunatic? Lolita Davidovich was like the Alexis Colby. It only lasted for like 7 episodes. I was enchanted by it.
Yes.
And then it went away.
Of course. I miss it.
And also Shogun, obviously. I'm going to watch Shogun.
Totally. And I think you're right. I think that's the exciting part. That's what I mean. I get very excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch that. That looks great.
Oh, you know what else too? That Reservation Dogs show. They had that really good.
So good. I watched the first season. I have to watch the last. There's only 2 more, I think. I think it was only 3, but that's like the line of funny and serious. Like they are funny.
Right.
And it is very serious. And it's a nice 30-minute, 28-minute episodes.
And the Levies made reference to it as well when they talked about Reservation Dogs all of a sudden getting these awards when they already know it's the last season. It's like they feel like they discovered something that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows is also going off the air, and that got a couple of nominations last time. So
and Hassan watches that and like pisses himself.
My
over.
friend,
like, he says it's so funny.
Everyone I know who watches it
Same.
absolutely loves it.
And I think I'm going to pick it up and make it like the before the bed kind of show. Like,
I
think it's supposed to be so funny, and I can't wait to laugh at a funny show.
That's another show I never watched, which my friend Mark thinks it's insane that I've never watched. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know why, but I feel like getting into that now might be too late because it's like
I agree.
20 years.
But you can go back. Some of the earlier seasons are like some of the funniest TV I've ever seen. Like, there's an episode where
watch them all in.
Not really.
No?
Once you understand who, it's like Friends. Like once you understand who the characters are, all the episodes make sense. I listened to an interview a while ago of, I think it was Rob McElhenney, and he was like, our show is one of the only shows on television that started out as like the demographic being like 18 to 24-year-old men that has now completely switched over to being like it's hit basically every demographic possible. And now its demographic is like 40 to 60-year-old women. And it's like the same show, but it's just like been passed around from all these different groups of people. They are like truly like Caitlin Olsen like does not have the career that she should because she is like laugh out loud, Jenna Maroney level funny.
Right. And she's married to him, right? They're married in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's in the upcoming show on ABC, High Potential.
I have to say that I saw the ads for High Potential and I think I'm in. She looks really good in it.
It's basically Goodwill Hunting.
Rebecca, we know you're in. You don't need to.
We're pretty sure you don't have cable, so you have to be in.
Hold on, my antenna is.
Get your.
Speaking of Rob, your husband's there. Speaking of Rob McElhenney, have you ever watched Mythic Quest?
Yes.
No,
I watched the first season and a half, I think.
For me, laugh out very loud funny.
I like Naomi Ekperigin as the HR woman. She's hysterical. Yeah, no, that show was actually pretty funny. I should finish that show. Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. And I never watched Welcome to Wrexham.
Never watched it.
No, not interested.
Okay. I think I know people that work on it, but
I don't like when these celebrities move on over to our territory and think that they're going to do something.
Please get out of here.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
It's also
unless we're working on it.
It's like sportsy, isn't it? Sportsy, not my thing.
They like buy it. It's like the real life Ted Lasso, basically.
Yeah. I gave Ted Lasso 2 episodes, so it's like
not for you. I liked it, but it's not for you.
Too much soccer angle here. I'm just going to go back and watch Dynasty reruns if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I like slapping as a sport. Women slapping each other in the 80s, that's an Olympic sport for me.
Yes.
And speaking of wrapping up a broadcast, we're just at about that time here. let's
final thoughts.
Let me ready our music cue.
Okay, I have a final thought.
We're ready in the audio department. Rebecca, final thoughts on the Nighttime Emmy Awards.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. Not enough Bradley Cooper. Am I wrong? Am I right?
How dare you? I'm Emmy.
I just needed to hear it. Okay.
Can you imagine if he was there?
Actually, that would be a great fix. If he was in a True Detective limited series, produced, directed, starred, won, and swept, do you think that he would go away after that?
No.
It would wet his whistle.
No, because then he would have his mom wear
Sue
a
Mengers.
backpack.
Sue
Mengers Cooper would be wearing a backpack full of all of his Emmys for him to bring down the freaking red carpet of the Oscars to be like, look, they gave me a bunch of awards. Don't you also want to give me an award? That's what would happen for there.
Okay.
Chris, your final thought?
There was no... Okay, you're playing me off already. I didn't even start. There was no viral moments and there were no crazy outfits. No, it was just an award show and that made it so great. And like, as you can see, 50% more viewership. So you actually don't need Ellen doing the pizza, the selfie heard around the world, or like the pizza delivery guy showing up, or like any of that. Like, you don't need any of that stuff to like make a good award show that people like. You can just have funny jokes and people will laugh at them.
Agree.
Period.
My
favorite moment was at the very end during the credit bed when Dan Levy looked directly into the camera and proposed marriage to me in front of the entire world, knowing that only I would see it and that no one else would. And Dan, I accept. Where's Shelley?
Love is love. Love is love. Love is love.
Love is love. Delusion is
unless
love.
It's
love is delusion.
Unless it's two men having sex on a TV show, which it's not love for Rebecca. She's shaving.
Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the podcast and known homophobe, Rebecca Louise Bregman. Thank you, as always, for being our award correspondent. We adore you.
Oh, I adore doing this.
And where can we find you on the internet?
Writing fan fiction about Meryl Streep and Martin Short's love affair. Find me there.
They're still denying it, aren't they?
I don't know. Not after last night. Just keep watching TV. Keep watching unscripted TV.
Watch Dr. Odyssey.
Dr. Odyssey, High Potential, Matlock. Can't wait. I do a podcast with my stepdad. If you Google it, you can find it. And that's where you can find me, Christopher.
Rebecca, can't you do... I think you need to do like This Is on Kate, like Antenna Thoughts or something. I don't know what it's called, but like you might need to do another podcast that we come on as guests and being like, what's
where
on
you
ABC.
Only talk about what's on the big four networks.
Yes.
5.
Who are we counting as 5?
There's a CW show that I'm going to watch with Sophie Turner's in it.
Chris, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. No, it's you next, Dominic.
Well, I can be found at domentary.com or at Dominic People on socials or on the Fixing Famous People Instagram page. Chris, where can the listeners of our podcast find you?
We're falling apart. You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. If you laughed at our awards correspondent, Rebecca Bregman, you will absolutely pee your pants for her and Dame Erin Bagwell, the Buffalo Medium, to do an advice podcast where we fix normal people on the Patreon. Go listen to that right now. And if you want to sign up, and you only have to sign up for $5 to get that episode. I wish you both well. And as always, let's say it together very slowly like we always do. Where's Shelley?
It sounds deranged.
Where's Shelley?
Where is she?
Where is she?
Goodbye.
Bye.